Yes, yes, yes. Let's get it. Ready to put this work on y'all tonight. I'm about to put this work on y'all tonight. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get into it. Yeah. So I have a question that I'm going to put out here real quick. Boy, let me tell you, this is going to be good. So, listen. I love these vibes. These musical vibes I got. These nice songs I downloaded from this website. This site called Epidemic Sounds. You gotta pay for it though. You gotta pay for these. These ain't free. You gotta pay for these Epidemic Sounds though. See, these ain't something you find on YouTube or Apple. You gotta search for this kind of vibe. And you gotta pay for these. And because I pay for these nice vibes, you finna get a nice vibe tonight. Listen, y'all. Listen. So I'm back. It is your one and only. It is the Urban Luminary here today to talk nothing but light work with you, because that's all I do is bring you enlightenment. Every time I get on here, my focus is to enlighten you. So, yeah, when you hear me speak, you are getting light codes. You are getting the light messages that comes from light source, the light, right? So let's get into it. See, I speak as the light. I speak from the light. I speak to the light. I speak, okay? All right, so let me get this out the way. It's always seemed like people want to text when you go live, right? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this person on mute. Always seem like you got somebody that want to text you as soon as you go live. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I gotta learn how to mute somebody. I gotta learn how to mute somebody because this can't be happening. Alright, anyway, hide alerts. There you go. Hide alerts. There you go. Hide the alerts. So anyway, back to the conversation at hand. And I want to have a deep conversation with y'all because I got a big question that's asked of you tonight. That question here tonight is, do you have to be spiritual to live holistic? You know, I could just cut this video short and be like, yes or no with the answer. Or I could give you the reason why this is so. As again, I speak as the light, from the light, to the light, through the light, with the light, for the light, because I am the light. Omaka the light. That's me. Give it praise when praise is due. Give all praises where praise is due. Give people their props. You feel me? Like, I've been doing this work for a long time now. I've been doing this work since 2013 now, man. You know what I'm saying? So we are looking like we are in our 9th year with this thing, almost a decade. So let's just get this, give me my props. I got hours put into this. You feel me? So I'm not just coming with gibberish. I'm coming with real-ish. Now, the question I asked was, do you have to be spiritual to live holistic? And beloved, if you're listening to me tonight, then you got to understand that let me find a way I could put this simple for you, right? Would you dare believe or ask a fish? Could it be a fish outside of water? We talking about a fish now. We're not talking about a seal. We're not talking about a penguin. We're not talking about whatever else, otter. We're not talking about these type of animals. We're talking about a fish. Would you ask a fish, could it be a fish outside of water? That fish should look at you and be like, huh? Like, you talking out the side of your mouth. Like, you crazy? What do you... Because the fact of the matter is this, beloved, that the natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. Plain and simple. You understand? The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. I'm going to say it again. Do you have to be spiritual to be holistic? And so many people are doing both things, right? Here's what I'm coming across. I'm coming across this. Let me tell you what I've been coming across. As I look at the landscape, I've been seeing people call themselves healers. And then they don't do nothing pertaining to what it takes to heal themselves. Then I see people who say they eat healthy. And I always look at that kind of crazy when people say, I eat healthy. I almost want to scoff at you and be like, bruh, like for real, like you bullcrapping yourself when you say that. Oh, I eat healthy. And see, the problem here is, and here's the problem. The problem here is you cannot say you eat healthy and your source of eating, the way that you eat healthy and your source for eating healthy is through food. We about to get deep tonight. You cannot say, oh, I eat healthy, but that's your main source of what you call eating healthy. Beloved, you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot call yourself eating healthy, or you cannot call yourself healthy, and the only way you see being healthy is through food. That's not going to get it. Do you have to be spiritual to live holistic? You cannot say I eat healthy and that's your source of being healthy. Oh, I eat healthy and that's the only source that you eat healthy. When you say you are holistic, and I'm going to break this down for you. When you say you are holistic, or when you say you live holistic, that means so much more to me. That means so much more. That's a more broader understanding for me to grasp than when you say, if I ask you, are you healthy? And your comment is, your reply is, yeah, I eat healthy. I'm gonna look at you and be like, bruh, that's the only way you feed yourself? Is that the only way you feed yourself, through eating? Your eating is your only source of calling yourself healthy, eating? You see, you cannot call yourself healthy, and food is the only way you see being healthy. Now you really missed the boat. Now you really off your rocker. Now you really jumped the ship. Now you really went overboard. Because that is out of the box crazy thinking when it comes to living holistic. When we talk about living holistic, if you tell me I live holistically, then I'm going to stand back and be in awe of a person like you, because now I know you're touching on something deeper than the mere understanding of most people's thinking. When you say to someone, I live holistically, most people are going to take a step back and be like, what the heck does that mean? But someone like me understands what that means. And for me, a person like me, to understand what it means when I hear a person say they live holistically, now I know that person has a deeper understanding of life. That person knows exactly what it takes to be healthy, quote unquote. And I like to say wealthy. Wealthy meaning, wealthy is spelled WELLTH. We don't look at the word wealth with an A in it. We look at the word wealth with the A missing, but an L in replace of it. So we spell wealthy WELLTH, because it's about being well. And so it's 11:11 right now for those of you who are on the East Coast. It's 11:11 right now. So let's keep it going. You listening to me? Hear me out. When someone says to me, I live holistically, I'm going to stand back. A person like me is going to stand back and be in awe and respect of a person like you, because now your mind, it tells me your mind goes deeper than the surface. It tells me your thinking. It tells me that your reach is deeper than the surface. It tells me that, oh snap, this person got a greater understanding and awareness of who they are. This person has a greater awareness of who they are. So when I hear someone say they live holistically, I know what they're tapping into. I know what they're speaking to. I know what they're talking about. I know what they're preaching to. I know who it is they say they are. I know that they are reaching far deeper than the carnal mind can understand, the carnal mind can fathom. So when one says to me, I live holistically, I know that that person is tapped into a deeper spiritual connection with themselves. And see, this is what I've been coming across with people. I see people call themselves healers, but they're not living holistically. And I see people saying that they eat healthy, but they're not living holistically. And I see people calling themselves spiritual, and this is the biggest one I see. People who call themselves spiritual, and they think that by saying I'm spiritual means they're woke, right? People think when they say I'm spiritual, I'm woke. I'm woke because I'm spiritual, so that means I'm woke, or I'm woke because I'm spiritual. Listen, I'm not bashing no religion, but I thought I was woke when I was a Christian, and I'm not a Christian no more, and I ain't afraid to admit that, because I have awakened to a higher version of myself. That's why you see the picture here. The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. You can't get away from that. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear people say, oh, I'm spiritual, but they overlook nature, they overlook the natural world, you ain't my G or my girl. You are not, quote unquote, spiritual as you think. And you think, and this goes for believers of any religion too. This goes for them too. So for people that call themselves Muslims or Christians or Catholics or what is 5%ers or Nawapians or any type of religion, Egyptians, or whatever type of spirituality you adhere to, whatever type of spirituality you take precedence with, whatever type of spirituality you believe in, you cannot have spirituality without nature. You can't have spirituality without nature. Therefore, you can't live holistically without being natural. What does it mean to be natural? Because I know a lot of you don't know what that means. And some of you think that being natural is making sure your hair is natural, your nails are natural, your eyes are natural, you're not wearing any makeup. That's the easy stuff, right? The easy stuff to believe to be natural is, oh, take the weave out my head and go back to being, or take the extensions off my nails and go back to being that. That's surface. It's important, but that's surface. But when you go back to being natural, beloved, this is the real truth right here I'm about to say. When you go back to being natural, you go back to being a giver. What does it mean to be a giver? Because everything in nature procreates. Everything in nature produces. Everything in nature is giving. Everything in nature is giving off life. Everything in nature is giving. So when you are going back natural, you're going back to a procreative producing way. If you go away from procreating or go away from producing, you are going away from nature. You're going away from your natural connection and design. You're going away from your natural existence when you go away from the procreation, because life, nature is procreation by definition. Nature is procreation. Nature is procreative. And so everything that you do is giving. Everything that you do is a service to nature. So I'm going to say this again. Do you have to be spiritual to live holistic? I want to finish my point that I said the biggest one I see is people who say they are spiritual, but I don't see them living holistically. You can't be spiritual and not be holistic. What does it mean to be holistic? People want to know. What does it mean to be holistic? When someone says, oh, I eat healthy. Is that being holistic because you put healthy food in your mouth? What about healthy thoughts in your mind? What about healthy thoughts in your mind? What about managing and mastering your emotions? What about mastering your physiological body, that part of you that when you have that fear or flight emotion that raises up within you, that fear or flight feeling, and you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up or you get goosebumps, that comes from a physiological part of yourself. Because there's an intuitiveness within you that is connected to your physiological part. And if it wasn't connected, you would not know what goosebumps feels like. You would not know what chills up your spine feels like. If you were, and so you feel this, this is your I'm not saying I'm not saying if you feel your physiological body, you're spiritual. What I'm saying is, this is how you know you're attached to your physiological body. When you feel chills and you feel, goosebumps on your arm, or you feel chills up your spine, when you get that chill factor, or when you get that fear factor that comes in, that's connected to the physiological, because that's your intuitive nature telling you the sense something ain't right over here, something is wrong over here, something is off right here. That's your intuitive nature connected to your physiological body that gives you off that urge or that adrenaline or that cortisol in your mind, and it runs through your body, and it says, look, this is over here is not good for you. You need to stay away from this. This person, they got some red flags. They not good for you. You need to stay away from that person. That's your physiological. So when I say, when you eat healthy, you're feeding your biological. You're feeding your biological when you're eating healthy, quote unquote. I eat healthy. But you can eat healthy and have a sick mind and be sick as hell. I'm going to say it again. You can eat healthy with a sick mind, and what you would cancel out eating healthy. Because if your mind is sick. So what it means to be holistic It means that you are in alignment with all beings. This is why my tagline of my business, my company I started, the Soul Center, is self, health, and well-being. I took an online study course at Yale University on the science of well-being, and I know exactly what it all means, but not because of the knowledge that I gained from this institution, but because I already knew half of it. I already knew 99% of it. I would say more than half. I already knew more than half of the knowledge. And so when we talking about holistic, we're talking about when they say, have you eaten a well-balanced breakfast or a well-balanced meal? What makes a well-balanced being? When all of those parts of yourself are in alignment with itself. When all of those parts are in harmony with itself. That makes a well-balanced being. When you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physiologically, and biologically in sync with each other. See, when I told my body, I told y'all this, right? I just posted it on my Facebook wall. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of my water. I told y'all this on my wall. What did I say? For 2 days, I was dealing with allergies. I'm not sure. I think I do know where they come from. And I would say that I know exactly where they came from. They came from me lighting unnatural incense in my house every single day. And I would light unnatural incense. Every single sunrise I wake up, I light incense. And then I started to realize, okay, this happened to me more than once in my apartment. This happened to me more than once where I got stuffy and I started sneezing and I started dripping from my nose. And I had to ask myself, where's this coming from? And every time I, did the common denominator, I found out it's these incense. And I was like, okay, cool. Now go back to lighting them after I heal myself. I go back to lighting them. But then I realized, I said, you know what? These incense are unnatural. And I even read them and they're unnatural. And I was like, you know what? I'm smarter than this. I know not to be doing this. I know to use natural stuff. I need to get, I know not to be using unnatural stuff like unnatural incense. So I was using unnatural incense. And that's just not my ignorance, but what I want to say, I guess you could say just my lack of will and determination to go and actually get natural incense. Because I know where to go find incense at from anywhere, right? So I'll just buy some. Instead of just, it just come from my lack of motivation to go and get natural incense. So I found myself stuffed up. I was stuffy. My nose was stuffy. My nose was running. I was dripping bad. I was sneezing. I was at an event sneezing all over the place. I felt like I didn't want to be there. I was like, dang, this ain't where I'm supposed to be. And then I turn around. I heal myself. I knew exactly what it took. I knew the remedy. But you know why I knew the remedy? Not because I practiced this, not because I teach this, but more so because I know how to hear from all parts of my being. I know when I'm out of alignment. I know when my spiritual is not matching my mental not matching my emotional not matching my physiological not matching my biological. I know when it's not aligned. I know when I'm out of alignment with my whole self, and therefore I am not a well-being. See, I'm not a well-being because this biological defect that was happening within me was affecting my mental and then my emotional and then my physiological, the way I was, and then it got to my spiritual. So it knocked me all the way out of sync because once it started affecting my mental, that starts triggering my emotions. Once it started affecting my emotions and the way I feel crappy. I don't like being around people, don't want me around. See, because my biology was defected from that. It got to my mental when I showed up at my event. And at my event, I was like, man, people gonna think I got the corona. You feel me? Like people gonna want to stay away from me. People ain't gonna want to come near me because I'm over here sneezing. I'm dripping. I'm like, man, I don't want to. Should I even be here with this sneezing drip going on? It started affecting my mental, which started to affect my emotional. Now I started to implant seeds in my head That's not really true. I started to plant seeds in my head, feelings of, man, don't nobody want to be around me. People are walking away from me. Ain't nobody coming up to me because I'm sneezing over here and this and that and the third. Ain't nobody walking up buying nothing. And I was thinking this, but my mental was going there, which leaked over into my emotional. So my emotional state began to feel like, man, I shouldn't be here. I started feeling bad for being there. And then my physiological got attacked from my emotional. So then I would do what? I would step 6 feet away from people thinking that's what, but nobody wanted to step 6 feet away from me. But that was my emotional triggered by my mental. So my physiological was triggered by my emotional because it was all triggered by a biological defect. So I'm thinking, so I'm stepping away from people, like putting on my mask when I talk, because I don't want to, all these things get triggered. So I'm thinking like, damn, I need to, if I'm going to talk to somebody, at least put your mask on or step away 6 feet, give people that space, because of my emotional feelings about it that led, that was coming from my mental about it. And then I said, I got to stop this. And I went to heal myself. I put on a pot of lemons, organic lemons and ginger. And I stood over it. And I let the steam go up my nose. And then I ate me a chicken noodle soup, vegan chicken noodle soup. And then I went to a natural spring. See, you can drink natural, this is why I drink spring water only. You go to a natural springs or you can drink the spring water. Either way, it's going to get in you. And I went to the natural springs. And after that, I slept. I healed myself. No more sneezing. Except for this parched throat I got right now from talking. Want to choke me up. But anyhow, I'm going to keep going. No more sneezing. No more dripping. No more unnatural incense. Let's get back to the topic at hand. But I wanted to show you how aligned you're to be. This is showing you how out of alignment things get. When one part of you is defected. When one part of you is defected, if you don't put it in check, then you cannot, what do I say? I said to get back to the spiritual world. I didn't say this here, but I created a quote. It's here, and I'll share it later. I sit back and I create quotes, kind of like the one you see here. The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. And I created another quote that said, the natural world is basically your connection to to the highest version of yourself. It went something like that. The natural world is the connection back to the highest version of you. And I said, wait a minute, Omaka, you got to get back to nature. You know what to do. I went and I did it. And here I am, I'm sitting before you. And I'm good, 100%, better than I was. Why? Because I know when one of those things get out of alignment, I know it's going to affect my mental state, my emotional state, my physiological, my body, all these things get affected. So when I hear people say, oh, I eat healthy, and they think that they're healthy, I'm like, yeah, okay. I eat healthy, but they think that they're healthy because they eat healthy. But I eat healthy too. But at the same time, my mental was affected because my biological was defected. You understand? And so that had nothing to do with food. That had everything to do with unnatural decisions and unnatural resources and unnatural things that I was bringing into my environment. The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. So when I say, do you have to be spiritual to live holistic? The answer is, you have to be holistic to live spiritual. Because you cannot be spiritual if you don't have these things in check. You have to master your emotions. You cannot be triggered by every single thing that comes your way. Every time somebody says something. Because what you're not understanding is Being out of alignment, listen, if your car was out of alignment by 1 inch, it would drift left or drift right. By 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter. If your car is out of alignment by 1 millimeter, your car would either drift left or drift right. Most of the time, if you're driving and let's say you drive and you take your hands off the wheel for a second. Just take your hands off the wheel for a second. Look at the steering wheel and tell me what way the steering wheel wants to go. It is going to either drift, it's going to either go left or go right. And this tells you your car's out of alignment. You understand? And so this is why you go get alignments at the car shop. Because if you're out of alignment by 1 millimeter and you don't put it in check, beloved, you cannot be calling yourself spiritual. And I see a lot of people say they spiritual, but out of alignment with their holistic self. They say they're spiritual, but they're out of alignment with their emotions. Their emotions is not in alignment with their spiritual, or not in alignment with their mental, or not in alignment with their physiological or biological. This is what makes a well-being. A well-being person is someone who has all 5 of those, what I call internal senses, in check. When all of those 5 internal senses are aligned, beloved, you can call yourself holistic. This is what it means to be holistic. Holistic means to be well. Holistic means to be whole. Holistic means to be wholly put together. Holistic means to be wholly one. It means to be one, put together. So when you say you're holistic, you must be, to me, I'm going to look at you and be like, okay, cool. You are holistic where? So you got to have all these things in alignment. People say they're spiritual, or they say they holistic. I've seen people, listen to me, I've seen people say that they're holistic, practice holistic, right? But only practices one part of the holistic, and then call themselves holistic, and then build practices after it. And then it's like, and I'm showing you right here, right now. I'm showing you in your face every day. I show you every day. I show you what it means to be holistic, what it means to live holistic. You got to take care of all these parts of yourself. I show y'all every day. If I'm online teaching, or if I'm online showing you video or pictures of me cooking, or if I'm out in nature, I'm doing retreats, or I'm doing a workshop, I'm showing you every single day. The knowledge that I got is I got a dictionary of knowledge out there. I got a dictionary of knowledge out there. And I'm not saying go back and get my knowledge. I'm not saying go back and study my knowledge. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that it goes beyond. I know now what it takes. And I've been knowing this. But I know now what it takes to be a what we call a well-balanced being. A well-being. I know what it takes to be a well-being. You see? We talk about health and wellness. No, health and well-beingness. My dude, my girl, health and well-beingness, not health and wellness. So some people out here calling themselves holistic, but blinded and put to sleep by what they call dogmatic knowledge and doctrines. Put to sleep by dogmatic knowledge and doctrines. But you holistic, but you, if you knew who you were, that's why you see me hashtag I am the light. I am the light. I ain't saying I'm your light. I'm saying I am the light. I know who I am. And if you knew who you were, you would not be giving praise to anyone else, to anything else. This is why I said at the beginning, give me my praise, because I deserve my praise. Give me my praise. I deserve my praise. You feel what I'm saying? But you would not be giving praise to something you cannot see, or something you cannot touch, or So you are out here living, quote unquote, holistic, but you still speak about God in this manner, but don't understand that connection to God is connection to nature. And to God, you got to go through nature. To God, you got to go through nature. You're not getting to the greatest version of yourself if you skip over your natural being, if you skip over your natural self. And so a lot of people what they're doing is, listen, beloved, if you take anything and you put a filter on it, you are not getting the pure form of that. I'm going to say that again. If you take anything and you put a filter on it, you are not getting the pure form of that. So if you take your food, this is why I don't drink pure water. Why don't I drink pure water? I only drink natural spring water. Why don't I drink pure water? Because it's filtered water. Pure water is filtered. And when you drink pure water, you take the minerals out of the water. I don't want that. I need my minerals because I'm an electromagnetic being that needs to connect to my natural electromagnetic earth self. Those minerals that are in that water come from the earth. That iron, those metals that's in the earth, those minerals that are in the earth is in my body. And once I drink pure substance, once I drink the pure substance of what I need, I can heal myself on a biological scale. But also, if I'm eating well, drinking well, thinking well, living well, I'm a well-being now. So I need everything to be natural for me. It has to be natural. And this is the only way to get back to your highest and greatest version of yourself. Because the moment you put a filter on it, see, when they put a filter on water, it's called pure water. It's called pure water when they put the filter on it. And so now you drink water that's meaningless. You drink meaningless water. I want to be drinking water that gives me the electrolytes and the connection back to myself. Because I'm from nature, I come from nature, and I understand that through nature, eating from nature, using nature, healing myself through nature, drinking nature, I know that it is the connection. I know that it is the connection back to my power. And once they take your power away, they've taken your connection back to your divine self, your divine being, your divine wellness, your divine wealth. They take away your ability to heal you. The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. And to get to the spiritual world, you have to do it through you got to do it holistically. To get to the spiritual world, you got to do it holistically. See, this is the thing I knew. See, I knew the knowledge, right? I knew the teaching and I knew the knowledge. And so when I found myself sneezing and dripping from my nose and I was congested, when I found myself in this predicament, because I knew the knowledge, I knew how to get back aligned with myself. Boom. I got back in alignment with myself. That displays to me, reassures me, guarantees me that what? That I am my greatest source of healing, or I am my greatest power source. I am the source. I am the greatest power source. I'm the greatest power source. It's just reassuring and confirming. It confirms. It's confirmation to me that when I know, damn, I was going through these sniffles and these drips from my nose and congestion. I was going through all of that. And all I did was took some natural elements, went back to nature, got into the springs, and I slept, and I ate me some vegan chicken soup, and I stood over a steam, organic lemons and ginger. And when I saw that nature was my greatest power, that took that away from me, why would I believe anything else now? Why would I believe what a doctor tells me? Why would I believe what a hospital tells me? Why would I believe what government authorities tell me when I know what did it for me? When I know what healed me? When I know what got me back to 100% in less than 24 hours? Tell me, huh? Huh? Because I know how to align myself. I know how to get back into alignment. I know how to go back to the natural source to get back to my greatest power, which displays to me that, damn, if I can heal myself through nature, I can almost do, and I won't say almost, I can do any damn thing I believe I want to do. Why? Because I know that power to heal myself came through me. That didn't come from nobody telling me what to do. That came from me. It came from me. And because I know it came from me, nobody can tell me what to do as far as when it comes to how to heal myself of anything. Y'all be missing the boat when y'all skip over nature. Y'all miss the boat when y'all overlook nature. Y'all miss the boat on how to heal yourself because, again, I'm going to say it again. When you put a filter on anything, you are not getting the natural, you're not getting the raw, natural form of that. And I'm talking about your pictures you put a filter on. If you put a filter on your pictures, I'm not getting the real you. But that's just a fact, though, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to degrade and demean anybody because you want to, put a filter on your picture. But what I'm saying is, that's just the fact that if you put a filter on your picture, I'm not getting the real you. Anything you put a filter on, you're not getting the real thing. So why am I put a filter on? Why do I need to go to the drugstore and get me a quote unquote drug to heal myself? Why do I need to go to the drugstore? That's the middleman for me. That's a filter for me. I go right to the natural source. Why do I need to go to a drugstore to get drugs? To prolong this? If I know exactly what would have happened if I would have took some of those, Sudafeds or Benadryl, whatever you want. If I'd have took any of that type of stuff, Claritin, if I'd have took any of that type of stuff to clear up my sinus congestion that I had, I would still be here trying to clear it up today because I know that because I know that happened to me before when I was dealing with an allergy problem way back in the day. I'm talking about years ago. And I would take Sudafed for or some type of over-the-counter nasal congestion for decongestion. And it took 3 to 4 days to just get off the dang on stuff. You feel what I'm saying? It takes 3 to 4 days to just clear your sinuses up from taking that stuff. And what I experienced with taking that stuff is I sneeze even more. I drip even more. When I used to take those over-the-counter drugs, I would drip and sneeze even more. I said, this can't be the way. This cannot be the way. There has to be a better way. And there is. It's called nature. It's the natural way. And I got into nature. I started looking into nature. I started going back to nature. I started grounding myself. I started going all over the country, in the world, and I started seeing and living from experiences of the natural world. I started learning how to get back in touch with my natural ways of feeling and knowing that I could control and master my emotions. I started getting back in tune with my thoughts and understanding that my thoughts are powerful. And if I just control my thoughts, I control my emotions. I control my physiological. I control my biology because your biology actually gets triggered from your mental. See, it all comes down from the spiritual. There's an actual pyramid to this. It's your spiritual, mental, emotional, physiological, then your biological. Your biological gets affected. I actually drew a pyramid on this. In my old book I got called, my third book I wrote called Going Beyond Belief. If you go in my third book and look at the pyramid in that back of that book, you'll see the pyramid. And this was in 2016. I created that pyramid. At the bottom of that pyramid is biology. You understand? And at the top of that pyramid is spirit. And so I'm not just coming on here shooting out something out my mouth. No, I'm telling you something I study, practice, and learn and taught myself and continue to still study and learn and teach myself. And so when I say that it trickles down from the spirit, once the spirit is sick, when the spirit is not, let me tell you something. The spirit doesn't get sick. I misquoted. I misspoke. When the spirit is out of alignment, when the spirit is out of alignment, you understand? Because what the spirit will do when everything else is out of alignment, you will lose connection to your spirit. So when the spirit is out of alignment, you're not in your spiritual self, you're in your physical self. You're in your what we call the lower dense version of yourself. You're in the lower density, you're in the lower dense realm. You're living in a lower dense version of who you are. You understand? So when the spirit is out of alignment, the spirit says, to hell with this, I'm leaving. And then you become one with your lower density self. Because the spirit doesn't align with that kind of vibration or energy. And so you have to get these other things in alignment to get to the spirit. That's why you cannot live spiritually. You cannot live holistically. What's the question I asked? Do you have to be spiritual to live holistically? Yes, you have to be holistic to live spiritually. And you have to be spiritual to live holistically. You can't say you're spiritual and don't live holistic. Because the spirit will move out of alignment if you're not living right. If you're not living right, the spirit will move out of alignment. Again, the spirit will be like, to hell with this. I don't vibe with this. Literally. It'd be like, I don't vibe with this because you're in a lower dense version of yourself. That's why I say I am the light. Omaka the light. I call myself the light. Because I understand that I am the lightest, and I understand that, number one, I am the light, Ligth, and I understand that I am the lightest. I'm not heavy. I'm not in my lower dense self. I'm light as far as weight goes. When we talk about weight, I'm not heavy. I'm light. You understand? And so I'm living in my lightest self, where cares don't have a burden on me. The things of this world, worries don't have a burden on me. The things that trigger people don't trigger me. People could call me a nigger all day long. I had people call me a nigger and that didn't trigger me. People call me out of my name, it don't trigger me. Because I'm not in the lower dense version of myself. I'm in the light version of myself. I'm in the lightest version where I don't have worries or cares. I'm living light. So I am the light because I'm living the light. I am the light because I live the light. I live light. And because I live light, you understand, I am understanding that I am not out of alignment with my spirit. So let me make this point I was going to make. When your spirit doesn't get sick. I'm going to say this again. The spirit doesn't get sick. The spirit is the lightest form of you, the lightest version of you, but it's called your higher self. That's because it is. As I always say, something heavy can carry something light, but something light can't carry something heavy. You understand? So when you are the lightest version of yourself, and when you are the lightest version of yourself, you are the light. And when you are the light, beloved, here's what you need to understand. That spirit will come into alignment because you've brought the lower dense version of yourself up. Let me say that again. Spirit will come into alignment because you brought the lower dense version of yourself up. You brought it up. You've gotten rid of the burdens of this world. You've gotten rid of the cares of this world. You've gotten rid of the sorrows of this world. You've gotten rid of the traumas in the chaotic thinking. You got rid of that past. You got rid of the unforgiveness, the grudges, and the enviness, and the jealousies. You've gotten rid of all of this. You unburdened yourself. And so now you're speaking to the biological, which transforms your DNA. It transforms your DNA. Your DNA is information, which begins to channel into your physiological body, which begins to program your emotions on what to say, how to feel, what to do. From your emotional state, how you feel triggers how you think. It gets to your mental state. So from how you feel, it will get to your mental. Now from how you feel, gets into the mental, and now what you're feeling, you express because it's on your mind. What you're feeling in your heart, in your beingness, you express because now it has been brought up to mind, has been brought forth to your mind, has been brought forth to your mental state, and you speak things that are good. You say things that are good. You give things that are good. And there's a biblical reference to this. And once again, I like to tell you, I'm not a preacher, but there's a biblical reference to this. When at the beginning, there was what? In the beginning, there was light. So it all goes back to the beginning. To get back to the beginning, spirit, to get back to the beginning, God, to get back to the beginning, your higher self, to get back to the beginning, you have to unburden yourself of this physical, lower dense version of this world that you live in, and you become light. You become light. You become light once again. You become God. All things greatly, the great harmonious alignment of the divine, because all things align, all things about you has aligned harmoniously, and it makes you the greatest version of yourself. I'm going to put that quote out because I created a quote just like the one you see here in this video. I created a quote that said the natural world is the way back to the highest version of yourself. And I'm going to put that out because that's a fact, right? So your biological becomes upgraded. Your biology becomes upgraded. This is why I always say your biology, your biosphere creates your atmosphere. Your biosphere, what goes into the biology through how you eat, through how you connect to nature, through what you drink, through what you think, through what you feel, comes out into the atmosphere. Your biology connects to the physiology, which connects to the emotional, which connects to the mental, which connects you back to the spirit. And that's where you get the phrase, in the beginning, there was light. That was the first thing in the book of Genesis. It says, in the beginning, God spoke light. At the beginning, there was light. At the beginning. So we are in a race, or not a race, but we are getting back to being light. This is what we're getting back to. This is what we're called to get back to. So when spirit sees that you are in the lower dense version of yourself, it gets the hell out of Dodge and says, to hell with you, I'm out of here. I don't vibe on that level. In order to be one with me, you got to become light. You got to unburden yourself, unfilter yourself. In the way, when you say unfiltered, we're talking about getting the raw natural form. So the way to get the raw natural form is to get back to nature. Getting back to nature gets you back to God, gets you back in great harmonious alignment of your divinity. Getting back to nature gets you back to God. So let's get you back to nature to get you in harmonious alignment with your divinity. And from there you would know. From there you would know who you are, what you are, and you would speak it. But because you think you are holistic, hey, I'm spiritual. You think that you're holistically living. You're living holistically. And you may not say, I live holistic. But you think that this is what people say. Oh, you need to go do more. When people get mad or something like this, right? And say, oh, he toxic or she toxic. They need to go do some more healing work. Let me ask you a question. When you say they need to go do more healing work, what are you referring to? I'm really being serious. When you say they need to go do more healing work, what are you referring to? They need to go do more spiritual work? They need to go do, they need to go do the spirit work? This is what I'm asking you a question. You need to go do more healing work. So if I'm telling somebody you need to go heal, most people don't know what that even look like. When you say you need to go heal, they think that it's just let me go in, meditate and pray so I can be connected to my spiritual self. And to me, that's not the way. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. To get back, to heal yourself, you got to know what that means. And that's why I am the light. That's why Omaka the light, is here to teach you and show you and guide you and help you get toward that way. Here's how you get back to healing oneself. And most people, can I be spiritual? Do you have to be spiritual to live holistically? And so many people are living quote unquote spiritual, but not living holistically. They're not. So you're really not. The truth is, you're really not healed because you're overlooking what it means to be spiritual by overlooking the holistic part of who you are. You're not touching or connecting or making contact with yourself holistically on these 5 fronts: biological, physiological, emotional, mental, spiritual. Most people say, oh, I'm spiritual, and they think, once again, it's just got something to do with connecting to some invisible force outside themselves, when actually connecting back to your spiritual power is going through, you got to go through nature, because nature is connecting in aligning you holistically. Nature is aligning you holistically. It's going to align. What nature does is it repairs and reprograms your biology. And your biology repairs and reprograms your physiology. Your physiology repairs and reprograms your emotional. Your emotional repairs and reprograms your mental. Your mental repairs and programs your whole self, your being, your whole well-being, your spiritual. So it brings you back into alignment. This brings you slowly back into alignment with your spiritual self, your God self, your holistic self. So whenever there's something out of alignment, you know. But a lot of you are calling yourself spiritual and don't know that you're out of alignment emotionally. So you can't be holistically, you can't be living holistically then, because you're out of alignment emotionally. You can't be living holistically then because you're out of alignment mentally. You can't be living holistically because you're out of alignment physiologically. You understand what it means to be physiologically connected to yourself? Again, this is to be connected to that intuitive nature inside of you, so you have no discernment. You have no guide able to tell you what's going on. You have no foresight. You have no power of you lack the power of premonition. You understand? You can't see things and feel, you lack the ability to see and feel things before you even experience. Ooh, I'm going to say it now. You lack the ability to be able to see things and feel them before you even experience them. That's what it means to be connected to your physiological self. I can sit back and watch a cook on a TV show, cook a meal. And physiologically, I can get that, impute that knowledge within my being. I can impute that knowledge intrinsically within my being and go right in the kitchen and cook that very same meal without looking at a recipe list, that's what it means to be physiologically connected to your physiological self. I'm going to say that again. I can go and watch a cooking show. I can watch a chef cook a meal without knowing the recipe to that meal, without looking at the recipe list, And because I'm watching him do it, physiologically, I impute the knowledge within my being. And I go right in the kitchen and do the same meal, if not better. I go right in the kitchen and do the same meal, if not better. That's what I mean when I say you lack the ability to see and feel before you even experience. I see a chef cooking a meal. I see it. I feel it within my being, how it's going to already taste. And I go in there and create the exact taste that's in my throat, without even having experienced the food because I'm watching it on TV. But I experience it in my being, in my physiological being. Why? Because spiritually I'm aligned. And so I've already tasted it in the spiritual realm. The taste and the flavors came through me through the spiritual realm. I was there when he cooked it. I smelled it while he was cooking it. Because I'm there on a spiritual level. I'm there with him as he cook it in the spiritual realm. Because when that chef goes into his element to cook, he's in his highest self. When that chef goes into the kitchen to cook a meal, he's in his flow state. He's in that flow. He's in his higher self. Not a care in the world. He just goes in there and creates beautiful magic, and that's because he's in a spiritual state. He's in his alignment. He's harmoniously aligned with his divine self. And because I am harmoniously aligned with my divine self, me and him, we meet. We meet on a spiritual level. And as he cooks the meal and I'm watching it on TV, I can experience the food on a physiological level. I can experience the food, how it tastes, what it feels like to eat it, and the smell and what it feels like to smell it before I even meet the man that actually experiences real food in real life. But because I watch it on TV, he's in alignment with himself. I'm in alignment with myself. And I couldn't experience the food. I couldn't taste the food. I couldn't know what it smelled like to even cook it if I wasn't connected to myself spiritually. And I wasn't in alignment with myself spiritually. Because we met on the spiritual realm, and that's how me and him are able to experience, or that's how I'm able to experience his food. I'm already there. I'm experiencing. So a lot of you claim to be spiritual, but you'll go take a course or a class to learn how to do something when physiologically you can do that. Physiologically, you can do that if you was aligned. But you can't do that physiologically. You just can't. It's physically impossible for you to know how to do it because you're not aligned. I know you like, oh, it don't take all that to be spiritual. No, it do. I'm telling you it do. I'm telling you. And you might not think so. You might think I'm being arrogant with this, and I am. Because it does take all of this to be spiritual. And you say, oh, I can be holistic. I can be living holistic. No, you can't. Because you got to be in touch with your physiological self too. And if I challenge you to something physiologically, I guarantee you I'll prove who's right and who's wrong. And you say, oh, I don't need a... No, you don't need... Here's the thing, beloved. You don't need to go to school to learn nothing. I said it earlier today. The best teacher is you living the experience others can learn from. You know how I learned everything? I almost know 99% of my knowledge? Observation. Observation became the greatest teacher to me. Watching other people do it. And when you watch other people do it, the knowledge gets imputed in you physiologically, and then you start to make magic happen. Because that's called foresight. That's called seeing it, feeling it, and experiencing it. Seeing it, feeling it, and being it before you even experience it. So your spirit man must get back in tune. Must. You must get back in tune with your spirit man. I said that backwards. You must get back in tune with the spirit nature, the spirit side of you. Get rid of the burdens. Get rid of the cares. Get rid of the struggles. Get rid of the worries. Get rid of... See, a lot of you think, and I'm going to speak right now as a parent. A lot of you think because you got children, you're not able to do some of the things that you may see me do or others do. And I'm here to say that's a bold-faced lie. The problem is you burden yourself with a lot of cares that your children don't have the burdens of. So what I'm saying is this. You sit back and be like, well, how my children going to get educated? Damn it, you educate them. Well, how my children going to eat? Damn it, you feed them. How my children going to get this or get that? See, you burden yourself with more of those type of cares and worries rather than depending and leaning on, if I just try this one time, let me go back to depending on the natural resources I have available to me. Let me just do that. Let me go back to depending on the natural resources I have available to me. And let me see how that works out. I'm going to guarantee you're going to win in that area. Always. All the time. If you go that route, you're always going to win. But you carry the burden of what your children are going to experience. And I'm telling you, get rid of that burden. Get rid of that worry. Get rid of that care of thinking, what are your children going to think? Or how your children going to be better for this? How your children going to get an education? How they going to eat? And you call it bad parenting if you're not able to put a roof over your child's head. You call it bad parenting if you're not able to put your child in school. You call it bad parenting if you're not able to feed your child food from a grocery store. You call that bad. That's bad parenting to most of you. That's that backwards thinking. See, that's what they got you believing, and you start thinking backwards now. The natural world is your connection back to the spiritual world. My children live good. My children live good, not because of me alone, but because of my portion that I do. My portion of what I do. I know that sounds funny, right? But my portion of gifts that I do for my children they're emotionally, mentally better for it. Because I gave up the cares and the worries. You want to live spiritual? Live holistic. Eat holistic. Eat organic. Eat natural. Drink natural. Get back into nature. Go back outside into nature. Go back in and get connect to the sun. Go back and connect to the motherboard. Go back and connect to the oceans and the sacred waters. Go back and connect to the animals that speak a different language from you. They don't speak words, they speak vibration. Go out there and understand vibration. Go back out there. Why you think you can see some of these people? I was watching this man yesterday on Facebook. I don't know his name, but he lives with a lion's pride. He lived amongst a lion's pride. And he was telling us how he does it. Simply, he said, you have to understand their language. And you cannot speak your language to them. You got to speak their language. And he don't speak using words. He speak using their very same type of energy, vibration, tones in the voices. He uses his throat chakra to speak. He uses his throat chakra to connect to the lion's pride. Because lions speak with their throats. Some of you speak with your tongue. That's why they say, watch out for the devil has a forked tongue. Watch out for the tongue. It's not the throat. Some of you speak with the tongue, not the throat. But you must speak from the throat, because that's where the voice box, that's where the vibration emits from, your natural self. You got to speak from your voice box, the throat, and not the tongue. Okay? So if you want to live holistic spiritually, you got to live holistically. Again, eat, drink, connect to the motherboard of earth, which is grounding. Get in the sun, get in the waters. Sit by the fire. The fire is purifying. The fire actually cleanses you. For those of you who don't know the importance of fire. The fire actually cleanses, detoxes. The fire is an actual natural detox. It burns away all and draws out. Fire draws out of you natural impurities. That's why you should sit by fire a lot. It draws out natural impurities. And so you got to connect to the energies of the earth. That's why they're here. Okay? This is living holistically, connecting to the energies of the earth. This is living holistically. And when you connect to the energies of the earth, the elements and the energies of the earth, now you're connecting and coming back into alignment with your spiritual self. That's how you get back to spirit, through nature. Through nature, you go holistically. Through nature is you living holistically. Through nature. Because nature is going to heal you, and nature is going to speak and repair and reprogram all those beings of yourself that I explained, all those parts of yourself. Nature is going to repair and reprogram. Trust me, believe me, understand what I'm saying. Nature is going to reprogram and repair. From your biology first, it's going to reprogram and repair your DNA all the way up to your physiological, emotional, mental, and then spirit. You come back into alignment with spirit. Once it taps into the mind, now you come back into alignment with spirit. Now you know how to heal because you know how to speak, you know how to think, you know how to act, you know how to taste, you know how to touch, you know how to create, you know how to do all kinds of things. All right? Click on this video, share it, hit the like button, do whatever you need to do with this video. All right? Do whatever you need to do with this video. But don't forget, do me a favor. Go to GoFundMe/Soul Missions. We got to create an eco center so we can get back to living in nature in a natural way. I'm going to build a eco center, and I need you to go to GoFundMe/Soul Missions and donate. Donate $1, donate 10, donate 100, donate 1,000. Do something to show support that you are in support of the natural way, going back the natural way. Because I'm finna, whether you go with me or not, me and my children and generations to come after are going to have an environment where our environment heals us. We're going to have an environment where we ain't got to do no work, because the environment itself, once I built the eco center, the whole environment of the eco center, stepping on the floor, just being on the floor, you're grounding. We're going to be healed. You understand? Healed on all fronts, though. Not just, spiritual work. No. Biological work, physiological work, all that is going to get healed. So let's go to GoFundMe/Soul Missions. You know how to spell soul? SOHL. Soul Missions. SOHL. Go give something to it. Go give $1. Go give 10. Go give 100. Go give 1,000. Do something to support the natural way, returning back to nature in the true form, creating this soul eco center. The Natural Soul Eco Center, okay? Look, share this video and do whatever else you need to do with it. I love you. I love me. I love us. Be well, be loved, and be light, beloved, because you are the light. Remember that. You are the light, but you cannot be the light if you got burdens, if you carry problems, if you carry issues emotionally entangled within your being. Get rid of that mess, get rid of that drama, and be light, beloved. Okay? And remember to always live from the soul. I'll see y'all for the next video. Peace and Ashe.